1500, San Bernardino.
Roger, you take care of 73's Tia. Hey, Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. 943, Panama City, Florida, be on the side.
I knew there was something wrong with him, but I didn't know he...
Afternoon, everybody out there in the Matrix. The 1122 Wingnut Radio, standing by channel 38, lower sideband, CB band, 11 meter pirate radio.
Alrighty, 305. Sounding good out here in Southern California. Alright, have a good day there, bud, and we'll talk to you later. Holiday. 167 on out there. Yeah, I know all about that. I got two of them there. Yeah, but that was back in the 80s, you know, when I go through the telephone and TVs and all that shit. Yeah. 714, Southern California, out here, my Winky Squeaky Mobile here from San Diego. Hello.
But that's San Diego, California. You got a grip of 943, Panama City, Florida.
Yeah, right.
420. Shut up.
All right, 420 Southern California. On my Mobile.
Mobile, California, 943, Panama City, Florida. Wait for my hand. 172, New Jersey.
Panama City, Florida, we hear you. Wait from Southern California. 167 Ron said that.
Roger, you sounded good over here in Panama City, Florida, no doubt about it. With 73's Tia, God bless. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy the eggs. I'll hear before you last Christmas and Happy New Year. 943, Panama City, Florida, be on the side. 17, New Jersey. For QRT, stand by.
Holidays right back to you. 167 Ron out here just north of San Diego. Saying 73. Sounds like it.
New Jersey.
Well, everybody, Wingnut Radio here. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. You know, it's about, was it 12 minutes after 12 in the afternoon down here on Saturday, the 22nd of December. I'm curious, for the few people that actually watch my videos, are you guys paying attention about what's going on in this country? We've got communists trying to impose their will onto the American people. And the way they're imposing their will is by force, at the point of a gun barrel. Are you guys actually paying attention about what's going on out there in Virginia? I think at the moment there's probably, I think there's like 93, I think, counties in the state of Virginia. I think there's up to 70 some odd counties that have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuary cities or sanctuary counties. And the sheriffs are standing by their constituents that live in those counties and in some ways standing up and doing their actual job, which is upholding and protecting the Constitution of the United States of America and the people within. And you've got a governor right now that, Bloomberg pumped in a bunch of millions of dollars into that corrupt state legislature. And now they're trying to push all these gun legislation, gun confiscation and red flag laws and this and that about when it comes down to forming militias. And they're threatening, I'm talking about like the governor and people up there in the state house, are threatening these sheriffs to comply if these bills and stuff get passed into quote unquote law, which is basically statutes and codes and shit like that. It's not really law, because the only law we have in this country is the supreme law of the land, and that's the American Constitution. That is the Constitution of the American United States. That is the supreme law of the land. That is the law. Anything else made by man is nothing but statutes, codes, and policies. So, you got this guy willing to force communism onto the duly elected sheriffs of those counties. There's even been a small threat, in my opinion, about maybe even sending the National Guard to force these sheriffs into compliance in enforcing unconstitutional legislation. Now, we as people of this country were endowed with inalienable rights. These rights were given to us by God. And I don't care about your religious beliefs. It doesn't matter. Those inalienable rights are bestowed to all of us, no matter who's the creator in your mind. And those cannot be taken away or delegated or infringed upon by anyone. These tyrants, these communist tyrants, want you to believe that these rights were given to you by government and they were bestowed to you by the government, and therefore they have the right to redact or take those rights away from you. That is a lie. And anyone that believes that the government is one that actually provides these and gives these rights to you, you are one of the children of the lie. Now, I'm honestly kind of curious on how it's going to play out. I know a lot of people as far as I know, not only from Virginia, but people from different states around the country that are going to be going up to Virginia. I think in the middle of the month, sometime in January, I think they're going to have a little road rally or whatever you want to call it, some kind of protest or whatever, to let the elected officials, or remind the elected officials, remind them that they work for us and not the other way around. When it comes down to government officials, majority of them of today have forgotten or ignoring the fact that they work for us. They want us to believe that we work for them, and they will tell us how to behave. And if we don't behave on the way they subscribe, or the way they prescribe, there'll be punishments. Well, quite honestly, those communists are traitors to our republic. They are the true criminals, the true terrorists of this country. And we as the people must treat them as such. We must hold all government officials all the way to the tippy top, all the way down to the bottom. You know, everybody all the way down to a damn, secretary answering the phone. Doesn't matter. We must hold all government employees, all employees of the state, at a much, much, much higher standard, because they work for us. They are our employees. We must keep an eye on them. We must keep them in check. We must hold them accountable. Unfortunately, right at the moment, there's a lot of people with this complacency, and there's still that default that comes into play a lot, because I've heard this from a lot of people, including my family and people I know personally. I've heard this a lot over the years. It's this same default, and that is, oh well, that's just the way it is. You can't do nothing about it, so don't even try. I mean, that's like fighting the government. You can't fight the government. You'll never win. The government's too big, so you don't even think about it. Don't try. That's the default that the government and the deep state, or whatever you want to fucking call it, the globalists, the New World Order, wants you to believe and continue to perpetuate that lie. They want you to pass that lie on, and because my dad's, the baby boomer generation, my dad's generation, they still have that default. Every time any hard questions or any hard debate on anything, when it comes down to how the corporation, really, I mean, for real, I mean, if you get really down to it, the federal government is not our government. It is a corporation. All right, it is a corporation masquerading, posing as our government. And they've over their, I'd say probably getting on to about 100 years now, they've been slowly trying to turn it to where the government is the sovereign, and we the people are just cattle, property, of the government. That's a lie. And this default that unfortunately a lot of people have when it comes down to it is, just, you can't do nothing about it. That's just the way it is. Don't even try. You can't fight the government. That default is a lie. Quite honestly, if you actually start looking into it, majority of the stuff that we were taught through our lives is a lie. We, as a people, we must come together, no matter what your color, race, creed, doesn't matter. If you're an American and you believe in freedom, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, and you want to continue to have that for your future generations, we must come together. I myself, I'm kind of, this is another default lie that the Matrix wants us to believe, basically, is that we're all alone. And if you're alone, if you feel like you're alone, you feel like you can't do anything because, you're just one person. I'm just me, I can't do anything about it. I can't change things. I'm just me. Well, that's a lie. Because I know there's plenty of people out there that really believe and cherish and want to preserve our freedom, our liberty, our individual sovereignty. That's another thing too. The lie that the government is the sovereign and we're just the property, that's the lie. The people of this country, we were all born sovereign. All right? Only the sovereign can give authority to a government. Okay? The government has no authority, no jurisdiction whatsoever without the sovereign, which is us, giving that to it, affording that to it. If we all understood that we are the sovereigns, not the government. Government doesn't really exist in real life. It exists on paper. It's a corporation. It's a fiction that only exists on paper. It's not a flesh and blood man. It is nothing but words on a paper. And unfortunately, a lot of people want to think and believe, because this is the lie that they've been grown up to believe, because their parents and their grandparents and all that stuff believed it, and they taught to their kids as being truth. So hell, my dad taught me that, it must be true, that kind of thing. Well, if we all realized that we were the sovereigns, that we have the power, and we have the duty and the responsibility and the moral obligation to reject and rebel against tyranny. Well, quite honestly, that was the way this whole fucking country was founded, was by rebels that just said fuck you to the British monarchy and said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be your fucking slave. I'm not going to do it. Unfortunately, like I said, in the past 100 years, well, actually probably longer than that, but the British monarchy and the British have pretty much continued to hold on and control this country, even though we went through a revolutionary war and kicked their fucking ass. Right now, they just do it subversively. They just they've controlled the monetary system. They've controlled all commerce. That's the same thing with the New World Order that is trying to control everybody and and make everybody debt slaves. So we're all indebted to these governments and rely on their support and help. See, the thing is about government, like I said, government is a fiction. The thing is about government doesn't have anything, doesn't own anything. It only has what it takes from others. Government, no matter where it is in this planet, governments are the ones that do the most mass murders, the most theft of private property, the most damaging to families. The individual people, just individuals and people as a whole, we, especially normal people, just normal people, we don't need government. We can take care of ourselves. We take responsibility for ourselves, take the responsibility to protect ourselves, to feed ourselves, and do that and have that same mentality for our future generations and pass that on. So we're not reliant on them. But that's the thing, the government wants to make us all dependent. See, in my opinion, actually, the only thing that the government really wants, the main objective for government is continuity of government, no matter what happens. Continuity of government, that's our main objective. They don't give a shit if you're here or there or whatever. They don't care. The government itself doesn't give a shit about you, me, or anybody. The continuity of government is their main objective.